please. We're live. All yours, Parul.
Hi, hello everyone. Hope everyone's enjoying their Saturday afternoon and welcome to the Inspiring Indian Women. We are celebrating Women's Day very soon and Inspiring Indian Women are celebrating Women's Day week. So this is the first event of the Women's Day week. I believe, and I'm sure you all believe, that Women's Day is an everyday. So women are Shakti, power, you name it. We have got lots of different names and I don't need to tell all of that. So today we have lined up three very interesting, very powerful women today. And I would like to introduce all three of them one by one. So first of all, we have PIYA Das. Can we welcome PIYA Das?
Hello, evening
Hi,
everyone.
PIYA. How are you?
Good, thank you. And yourself?
Good, very good, thank you. And our second guest is ARCHANA Ben.
Hello, everybody.
ARCHANA AGNIHOTRI.
Hello,
Archana ji. How are you?
I'm good. How are you doing, Parul?
I am doing good. Archana Ben is here all the way from India, motherland. Welcome.
Namaste.
And the youngest guest, RASHMI SAMANT.
Namaste.
Hi, RASHMI. How are you?
Hi, I'm doing good.
Good. So I am going to ask each one of you your initial journey first. So let's start with RASHMI. RASHMI, can you introduce yourself, where you born, what you have done, and have you landed up in Oxford University?
So, okay, I think I'm in the spot now, going first. So my name is RASHMI SAMANT and I'm 23 years old. I was born and raised,
young one.
I was born and raised in Udupi, which is on the western coast of Bharat. And I have a bachelor's degree in mechanical engineering, and then I wanted to pursue my master's in renewable energy. So I landed up in Oxford. Hey, I mean, it was one of this long-term dreams that I've had, but I guess, if you try hard enough, then any dream is achievable. So I did land up in Oxford and I did my master's there. I was super active during the whole term that I was there. And apart from my master's, I was very involved with the student politics. I happened to be the first Indian woman to be elected their president in their long history of, I think, almost 1,000 years. So
wow! So you were a first. Was it an Indian president?
Indian woman president, yeah, Indian woman president of the Oxford Students' Union. So that happened, and yeah, and I just graduated 2 months ago, and I've been very active in the human rights space, doing a lot of work there, a lot of activism there. So I think that's a little introduction about me.
Okay, so we'll come back to you again. Let's introduce PIYA.
Hi, good evening. So my name is PIYA Das. I was born in India, a small village known as Durgapur in West Bengal. Came to the UK in 2002, and then I pursued my all studies there, from bachelor's to master's in aerospace engineering. Currently a nuclear propulsion engineer for the different submarines, working for the Ministry of Defense.
Very good. I know you had lots of other challenges, but we're going to talk about that a little bit later. Let's introduce Archana ji first.
Yeah, hello everybody. I did my master's in botany from India. Then I went to USA, getting married to my husband. And then I did my computer science from USA, worked there. My husband is the one who groomed me and trained me what to do over there. This is the beginning. And then in late 90s, early 20s, we came back to India to serve our country. So that's about it.
That's very good. That's very good. I'm going to ask. Let's make this more interesting so we can ask each other an interactive question. Rasmiji, if you put all of us on a spotlight, that would be said we can do an interactive session. That would be so everybody can enjoy that a lot more. Okay, so I'm going to ask Pia some question first. Pia, I believe you have done an aerospace engineering, right? And
Yes, I have.
Sorry?
Yes, I have. Thanks.
Yes, you have. Can you tell me a bit about, you came from India and you studied here in UK. So could you tell us a bit about your challenging or your childhood when you came from India to here? Can you tell us a bit about that, please?
Sure, I'll do a quick overview of it. So came from India. The first, I think, the challenge that I found was the language barrier, because obviously I was brought up in Delhi. However, my spoken English or my written English wasn't up to the script that was required for GCSE levels or A levels in the UK. Because of that barrier, I also didn't manage to have friends. I was bullied in school. And I was quite isolated, and it put me off from studying completely because I didn't want to go to school. However, carried on going to do aerospace engineering. Now, being from a BAME background, I do believe that there are cultural barriers which are still there within our cultures. And one of the barriers that I faced was that my father was absolutely hell-bent that I should not do engineering because it's a very male-dominated subject. He was hell-bent that I do economics. That was his path. And then go on his footstep, go back to India, join the Indian Civil Service as an IS officer. However, that just came down as I pursued aerospace engineering. One of the things that us immigrants have to go through is visa problems. My mother had problems with her visas in the final year of degree. She was detained in the immigration detention center during my final year. Having that behind my head, having a part-time job, working night shifts in Debenhams, I still carried on studying and accomplished my BEng with honours in aerospace engineering. Then went on to doing my master's, and during that time, having financial constraints because my father's backing was never there, whether for the degree or the master's, because I'd gone against him. So there were points where I had to sleep in the library because I was kicked out of the house. My landlord called me a prostitute because I used to work nights within the library, trying to, these are some of the barriers that you come across. You have to work the computers in order to get your CFDs, computational fluid dynamics graphs sorted out. And for that, night was better because there were not enough people in the library. So the computers would work rapidly and give you the results. Ended up being called as a prostitute and being kicked out around 3 o'clock in the morning. Not having enough money, ended up being in the university library for a couple of days. There were times that I couldn't afford food, so water was one way of carrying on. And at the same time, I was a cleaner in the hospital, financially supporting my mother and myself, because at that point she did not have the visa. So she was not allowed to work in the UK legally. So I was financially supporting her as well. And then carried on going forward, applied for 138 jobs, got rejected, not on the ability, but mainly because of the passport, because I'd applied for military and classified engineering domains, as a result of which I used to get rejection for breakfast, lunch, and dinner, as I say it. And then finally got my first job at HMS Sultan as an engineering instructor. And I started my job in 2014, and then went from there to RF Cosford as a Burnham lecturer, then became a mechanical engineer for Dreadnought class submarines, and then currently a nuclear propulsion engineer for different submarines of the UK. I hope that pretty much sums it up. Parul?
I think, yeah. Hello.
Do we have
Hi.
everyone? Yeah, sorry.
Hi. Technology.
Yes.
Yeah, barriers of like
Parul.
technology.
Technology. I tell you, you had a wild journey. That's what I could say.
Yeah, just a bit.
But that's call of women power. You are there. You are here with a beautiful job and everything. So that's what it counts at the end of the day.
Thank you so much.
Rashmi, what about you? How was your journey coming from? How was your childhood? How did you landed up here in UK? And how was your journey up until now?
I think I've had a bit of a wild journey, to say the least. So, I mean, I come from a very, well-supported household. My parents always supported me in everything that I wanted to do. They were very supportive and never stopped me from doing anything. I landed in the United Kingdom for the very first time, I think on the 18th of September 2020. And that was like the first time I was there, and I was supposed to get to Oxford. I think the initial few days, the most challenging thing I found was probably the weather and the food, which were both terrible. So those were like my initial challenges. And people were good. I met good people. The people in my house were very good. They're very helpful. Because I landed up in the United Kingdom when COVID was happening, and we were like in the middle of a massive wave. So you had to, at least me, someone with an Indian passport, had to wait for 5 hours at the border to even get an immigration seal. And then, you have to, like, you're wearing masks through your flight, you're wearing masks when you're waiting. And then, I got to Oxford, I think almost after 26 hours of just traveling with a mask, and then got into an immediate 14-day quarantine. But, I had amazing people, housemates who just helped me through that, getting me groceries, cheering me up from the balcony, and all sorts of things. It was really great. But I think getting elected as president, as challenging as it was, what followed was the most challenging phase of my life, because I never expected to be racially profiled for my religion or my background at that stage in my life. Because so far so good, right? Like, I was in the university, I knew people, I thought I knew the people, and I thought I fit in. But then the way that people saw me when I got elected as president, it's the whole perspective changed. And just because I'm in a position of power now, I'm the first Indian president, and there's so much attention coming my way. There was a certain section that kind of had problems with my identity, something that's not probably happened with that intensity with me before. But everything was suddenly a problem. I was being bullied, harassed online. And I think my personal messages were like filled to the brim with everything hateful about my color, about my religion, about my parents, my background. And, people even went as far as stalking my mom's Facebook profile. I mean, she's this woman from India, and, she's got her Facebook, and she's going to share whatever she wants to share there. Then, all of that was taken to make a very sort of devious, devilish image of mine, and that was just like circulated all over rumor mills on campus. And within no time, papers like the Daily Mail picked it up. And then it's crazy how mainstream media kind of sticks to propaganda without a lot of proof these days. And things blow up very quickly. I think there was a point when I was told that you will never find a job in your life, because um, even if any employer tries to do a background check on you, then all of these like things are going to pop up, and you're never going to go through a background check in your life, because there's so much stuff about you, bad stuff about you on the internet. And no matter what the truth is, you'll just never get through background checks and end up with a job or anything stable in your life. But then I fought through all of this, and I was able to, push through university investigation. I was able to push through some investigation with the police. I was able to kind of at least get one or two of the main bullies accountable to what they said and what they did. Though it did not amount to sort of a social, I mean, there's still, I think my image is still gray out there. There's also the bad stuff, but there's also a lot of good stuff about me out there now, because I chose to fight back, because I chose to kind of tell my side of things, to tell my story, and to not lose faith even when there was so much negativity out there, and there was barely any hope. So I'm glad that I, sort of stuck to my ground and fought back and did not give up and was able to put my story out there. So I kind of turned in my final assignment in August. And then, you have this period when you're waiting for your results. And I applied for a job with the British Parliament and I got through. So
Wow.
I kind of, proved all of the bullies wrong, that, you'll never get through anything. I mean, I think there's nothing more as rigid as the British Parliament itself. You can get through the background checks for them, then you can get through probably any background check
Absolutely.
on earth. So then I did a fixed contract with them for 6 weeks. So I was there through the sort of fall term that they had. Got to work on a lot of exciting things. I think I wrote a bunch of speeches for one of the MPs. So that was pretty exciting. And then I've always wanted to come back and work in India. That's always been my core. But so then I finished my fixed contract. I got my results, despite being sort of heavily bullied through a good half of my academic year. I managed to not just pass, but get a merit through my entire course. So I graduated on
Congratulations.
top. Thank you. And I just had my graduation ceremony 2 months ago at Oxford. I had my parents come down, and we had a great time. And so I'm back in India now, kind of pursuing something for this country, pursuing what's always been close to my heart. I have a master's in renewable energy, and I seek to sort of push through some barriers and make, sustainable options viable for people here where it really matters. So that's been most of my journey. But I think if anything it's taught me, it's that you need to push. I think women need to try twice as hard to be half as good in this world, because unfortunately that's the way things are set up. And no amount of denial or whitewashing is going to change that. That is the truth. And probably if, in my place there was a man instead of me, maybe the attacks would have been different or less violent and less vicious. But I think being a woman, not only maybe it does make you a bigger target, but it also comes with the energy to sort of fight it back. And I think we all have it in us to fight back through sort of situations that others would find unimaginable and others would give up very easily. And so I think we've got both. So I think it's only up to us to fight our battles and set an example for others within the community and support each other when such things happen. So, and I would like to also add that I find Priya's story incredibly inspiring. I think it's getting through each day can be very difficult when you're in such situations, and it takes one to know how difficult things can get. And pushing through each day can feel like hell. And it feels like pushing that boulder, Sisyphus rock. You keep pushing the boulder up, but it just seems to be coming back down. But then you make it through at one point, and that's when you feel that all the humiliation and all the hard work was actually worth it, because then you're
Definitely.
able to stand up and show to the world what you're capable and who you truly are. So yeah, I think
Definitely.
that's that.
Brilliant, brilliant. That you have come up, and I'm sure because you're being your family back in India, right? Though they were very supportive, but all these you had to fight on your own, because when you were fighting, your family wasn't here. So that's itself in a big journey for you as well. And you were only 20 as well. So I think hats off to you. Well done on you. I'm going to come back to Archana ji.
Yes.
And I'm sure Archana ji had an incredible journey as well. So, Archana ji, can you talk about your journey? Because I believe you were in India, you got married, and you went to USA. And I'm sure you must have had some tough time going from India to USA, adjusting there. It's not kind of easy. I can understand that. So let's hear your story.
Yes, Parul. First thing, I'm really impressed and really touched with the story of PIYA and Rashmi. Really hats off to both of you. You really proved you are a woman. I'm so happy for that. Coming to my point, my story is very interesting because I got married and that's how I went to the USA. And since I had done my master's in India, so I was so proud that I'm the most genius person on the earth. And when I went to the USA, I asked my husband, I want to work. He said, you don't have to work because I'm okay. I'm making enough money that we can sustain. I said, no, I have studied so much. I don't want to waste my studies. He said, okay, if that is the case, okay, go. But he said, if the condition is that I will not let you work do anything which is not of the level of you, what you are supposed to be. So I said, okay, fine. So he said, you will not go to the restaurants to do the dishes and those type of things. You will have to do the level of masters. That's what you say. That's what you will have to be. I said, fine. So I went to get the job. I didn't get any job. At one place, I got a telemarketing job. And within an hour, I was kicked out. It was so, and I felt so embarrassed. And I came and told my husband that, this is what happened. He said, okay, now let me tell you what to do. So I went, because I was in botany, so I was close to environment. So there was one environment job. So I went there. And they asked me about computer operations. And for us, computer was a typing thing because we were not exposed to computers at that time in India. We just saw the computers, but not much. So for us, it was a typing machine. So when they asked, so I had the same attitude. It's a typing machine. I am not a clerk. We are scientist level. And I came back and sure enough, I am not hired. So I came back and told my husband, and then he guided me. He said, unless you know computer, you can't do anything. And then I got my degree evaluated. You get it evaluated when you go abroad. So when I got it, it was equivalent to BS over there. And I was allowed to get the admission in masters in computers, but that was too advanced because there were certain prerequisites which I was not fulfilling. So I went for the community colleges courses to complete the BS part of it. And that's how I started computer classes. And my first class was C programming class. I don't know how come I got admission because there are lots of prerequisites, but I got it. And first day there were about 70 students in that class. Next day only 30. And by the end of the term, it was only 12 students left. So I was the lucky one. But that, I could clear it well. But let me tell you one very interesting thing which I realized. I was very good in Sanskrit in India. And when I started computer programming, that C is a programming language, you won't believe, I told my husband, because I was the only woman who was left in the class. All were males, and that too, only whites. I should not mention this color, but just to let you know that, I was only abnormal person over there. And I told my husband, and I could clear it with A grade, and you won't believe what I felt. Knowing Sanskrit helped me like anything in computers, like anything. And I told him that all the roops and all things which we learned in India, it is helping me. And later that study came that computers have Sanskrit base. If somebody knows Sanskrit, they can learn computer better. That study came later, but I observed this thing before. Well, that is the beginning. And then I got a job while I started doing my BS in computer science. I got a student assistant job in government agencies. And slowly I was getting, slowly I got, and when I finished my courses, I got a proper job in a financial institution. And I was the only Indian and only woman in their IT department. It was so, but I was treated so well. I joined the company. Next week, I was given a promotion. At the same time, a white male was fired from the job on the pretext of recession. And he really raised the voice that, how come a brown woman is getting promoted and I'm getting fired? So yes, some people have this bias, but I felt I got recognized for my work also. So it is everywhere, all over the world, because I have traveled a lot. I have been to so many, my age is quite a bit. So I have seen the whole world of at different ages. So I can tell you, people all over the world are same, but there are good people and bad people also. This is the way we have, I felt it. So I was really, really, really pampered all over the places wherever I went. I just got lucky for that, I would say. But when I was there, I realized one thing, and I used to discuss with my husband. My husband was from IIT Kharagpur. That, it is the same people with 2 legs and 2 hands and 2 eyes in India as well as in the USA. They are not abnormal people. It's the same people. They are not aliens. But how come certain things are better in USA? And that things we appreciated. Like, we don't have to, everybody would wait for their turn, stand in the line, wait for their, be in the queue properly. So these are the things which used to trouble us, not in the sense, bad sense, but we used to think that why can't we have the same quality in our country? Because let me tell you, in natural resources, our country is in top 10 countries. Human resources, you call it a resource or high population, that is up to us how we perceive it, how we want to take it. Similarly, climate, we have the best climate in our country. But when it comes to global growth index, our country starts from the bottom. Somewhere there is difference between performance and what we have from nature. So that used to bother me. And that's why we came back to India. I studied a lot and I realized child sexual abuse is one of the major problems in my country, which is stopping my country to move forward. And that's what I'm working upon now. My husband supported me 100%. And that's why, unfortunately, I lost my husband in 2011. But the life is like this, you cannot help it sometimes. But his inspiration is always with me. And I am trying to empower my country, my children of my country, to come out of this tragedy, which is serious in my country, and I am committed to do it. We have developed an app also with the help of IIT Delhi, and this app is with 100% success rate, and it's a unique app with anonymous reporting feature, which is helping lots of people report, but not getting caught, but getting the culprit get caught. So that's what is.
We're going to talk about your work in a little while, but let's go back to PIYA now. PIYA, we know that you have done an aerospace engineering, and you said in your talk that you probably applied for over 100 jobs. Now, could you tell me, I know you cannot say much about your work, but if you could let us know kind of where you work and how you work, because engineering is probably, it's not a computer engineering, it's aerospace engineering, and I believe it's very a male-oriented job. That's what you have landed in. So let's talk about that, how you pursue your day-to-day things.
I think answer is difficult. I think the first barrier that was struck to me was when you enter an engineering class, whether for your degree or your master's, and you immediately notice something that females are one of the very few. Coming out, gaining the degree and then master's, and then trying to pursue a career path, not within banking or finance or something. I was very rigid that I wanted to be an engineer, and I wanted to pursue within aerospace itself or aircraft itself. And I was always very military biased. It's probably because when I was quite young, around 5 or 6 years old, we used to, my father used to drive through YU Bhavan, which is the Indian Air Force Bhavan in Delhi. And I always used to, salute and say Jai Hind, and then say, Dad, I'll become an Indian fighter pilot one day in the Indian Air Force. And on the 26th of January, I used to do the same, run outside, look at the fast jets, and then say, I'll become an Indian Air Force pilot one day. My father always said to me, you're a female, you'll never become a fighter pilot in the Indian Air Force. And that used to absolutely break my heart. So that's probably one of the reasons why I actually pursued aerospace engineering, because I wanted to understand how a fast jet works, how a normal aircraft works, etc. So my first job, HMS Sultan, which is a naval base in Portsmouth, I was the only female instructor there. And then
did you have a female toilet there?
Yeah, surprisingly, I did. Surprisingly, probably because we were having female naval personnel, but no one as instructors. And then when you looked at the demography, it was not only white middle-aged men, it was also definitely by miles you couldn't see a person of color. Therefore, I think I found that quite challenging. One of the first things that I learned was the etiquettes of Trafalgar Night. We celebrate it within the Royal Navy as Battle of Trafalgar, and you're given 9 sets of cutleries, and I didn't know how to use them.
I still don't know how to use that.
So I was cutlery trained by the Royal Navy, which I'm really grateful about, to be honest. I was then taken on shopping by one of my mates. He said, you're entering the wardroom where only commissioned officers of the Royal Navy enter, which means you shall not wear jeans after this. And I was like, oh, okay, what do I wear? So he took me shopping, and he actually checked the length of my dresses, which had to be knee length every single time with a jacket. So there was a lesson learned, cultural barrier. I believe that I don't take this as a cultural barrier, but a steep learning curve to how a female should conduct themselves within a naval base. And then on top of that, being a BAME female. Then I went on to RF Cosford. Again, I was the only female Burnham lecturer in the air engineering side. And then training engineering officers and RF personnels, it was difficult because they look at you because you're the same age as your students. So they don't take you seriously. Then you're a female trying to be an air engineer. Well, you're already an air engineer, but within the military context, you're trying to prove yourself as a civilian. And that takes you to a back footing. On top of that, because you're in a very male-dominated area, there were sexual innuendos. Your backside looks nice. How do you take that? Because I'll be very honest, I'm a very vibrant person, and I would not like to change that. I wear colors. I'm wearing colors today. I have painted nails. I don't have painted nails today. I wear nicely fitted clothes. And if that means I have length of clothes which will cover every single inch of my body, however, they're nicely fitted. But what I don't expect is, sexual innuendos being passed. And unfortunately, in the military area environment, whether it's Navy, Army, or the RAF, that's taken as a banter. And coming from India, I'm raised where sexual innuendos is not a thing. So that's something that I had to take a deep breath and just calm myself down and carry on, perhaps. Then going into mechanical engineering for Dreadnought class submarines, again, the only female within the platform mechanicals. You sit in the boardroom, you are the chair of the board, and you're not allowed to speak because you're shut off. So I started learning a few male traits, and I said, all right, if you don't want me to speak, I won't speak. Instead, I'll write. So whenever I had to pick up points, I would write it down, and I would just fire the email, not only to them, but to their chain of command, so that they were told off by their management system. And that worked really well. So I've adapted to that. I speak less and I write it in an email saying where the problem is or where the shortfall is. And trust me, stakeholders don't like that. They hate me for it. Then I always had this vision when I was at HMS Sultan that, you know, there's a classified area known as the nuclear side. It's always going to be this, what's the next challenge? So I understand about fast jets, I understand rotary blades, so helicopters, then airline. Yeah, all right, it is what it is. Then the next challenge was nuclear. Let's look at submarines. So I was like, yeah, fantastic. Going from mechanical, then the next challenge was nuclear, pretty much. And now being in the position where I am, I can just say one thing. I'm the only female in the section. We are trying very hard to recruit more females within our department as such. But when it comes to the nuclear propulsion section, again, it will always be heavily dominated by male. It's a classified area, so I can't actually talk much about my job as such, because I work with two of the main submarines, and Ministry of Defense is quite tight on the security, etc. But all I would say is that, as Mrs. Agrawal said, they're good and bad in everywhere. And I've always found this. If there's one person who's negative, you'll have at least 10 behind you who will be positive. And that's just my personal experience that I've found. And don't, you know, I don't think that I've been very fortunate or unfortunate, but I have gone through bullying and harassment, whether in the civil service or whether in the reserves area. And we'll talk about the reserves, I'm guessing, later on. But when you go through something as serious as a formal complaint, and Rashmi would know that, she's gone through formal complaints herself, it's very stressful, not only for the complainant, but also for the respondent, because they need to understand what damage they've done to a person. And a lot of time when you go against the organization or the system, it will backfire massively. You will perhaps not get what you're looking for. You will perhaps not get the results that you're looking for. However, the fact that you've put it in pen and paper, that's you taking a stance. And when you take a stance and when you're taking a stand against an organization or a system, everyone looks back at you, perhaps not supporting you, but one day they look at you with respect. And that's the first step done for the change in the culture for the next generation. And that's all I'm looking for, is a change for the next generation.
Brilliant. Over to you, Rashmi. So you have gone back to, you worked few weeks here in UK, and now you've gone back to India. Now, tell us what you are doing at the moment and how you are pursuing your career.
Well, pretty much, I'm running my family business now, and it's all great because I'm an only child, the only daughter, so nobody to compete with, I guess, in this space. But really, it's about putting myself out there and kind of swimming in the greater place. But I think there is something that I can draw parallels to with Piya's story, because I was the only woman and the only BAME woman running for president. So I was actually running with, like, I think 4 other white men from Europe. So it was almost like that. There was no other woman and there was no other BAME person running. So that was kind of the structure under which I had to kind of win the election. So I think that was one of the greater challenges. I still remember, so how we have our election structured is that we get to campaign for 11 days. No one's allowed to campaign before or after that. So it's just these like 11 days that you're supposed to campaign for. And if you break the rules, you're kind of out of the whole race. And for those 11 days, different sort of student-led media outlets, which are on-campus papers. They have these debates organized, these presidential debates, these interviews organized, and all of that. I still remember one of the debates. So they forgot to introduce me in the debate. So that's what happened. So they introduced everybody, and then they just like, I don't exist. So they forgot to introduce me. And like one of the candidates had to actually grandstand and be like, oh, you've kind of forgotten to introduce her. This is, let me do that. And then, all that chivalry, and then sort of take that step and introduce me. And then questions were happening in rounds. So each question would go to each of the candidates, and then you'd go to another round where another question would be posed, and then it would go to each of the candidates. 2 times out of 5, they just skipped me, like plain. And it just didn't seem to happen to any of the other candidates. And it was just very strange that why is this happening? And I mean, of course, I think it's easy to sort of pull out, oh, the BAME card or, the woman card and stuff like that. But I kind of feel that this does exist because people, every time, we say this, I didn't get an attention because I was woman or a woman of color. There's usually this sort of rhetoric that, they're just crying wolf, maybe they're not capable enough, blah, blah, blah. But this was an equal platform where everybody was supposed to get equal opportunity to speak. And how come you just skip introducing a person, or how do you just skip asking a whole person a question if you didn't think lesser of them? So that was kind of the situation that I had to navigate through to actually become the president. And I didn't want to create a scene during that time because, of course, I think we all understand that, creating a scene takes us nowhere, but taking a firm stand whenever we get an opportunity, whenever there is space to make change is how we change things. And a big part of my manifesto was actually creating equal opportunities for people so that these things didn't happen. So I do sort of relate to Pia when she says that taking a step within institutions is hard, but that's the way for change. So you got to be part of the system, the rotten system, kind of face a lot of the things to actually be in a position to create meaningful change for the next generation. Staying out and complaining is not going to help. You'll have to kind of enter there, face a lot of that, and then kind of get into a place where you can actually bring some real change. It's easier to sort of stay out and complain and call out all the differences that exist. But then I think it's a bigger challenge to actually sort of start that change. So I think this was one of the bigger problems that I had to face through and through. When I was doing my bachelor's back in India, so I did mechanical engineering. So one can guess we were only 2 girls and it was all boys in the class. And if the other girl didn't turn up, so it would just be me. So I would be very often put in a spot. So sort of when there's a question asked, so then if nobody has the answer, then it would sort of be pointed at me like, Rashmi, do you have an answer? Just because, there's a different gender, then it just makes it fair game to kind of put us in the spot more often. But it was all, I think, very healthy, nothing very out of the picture. But then, yeah, it does make you put you more in the spot when you're sort of the only woman out there. Either they try to make you feel invisible, or then you're just in the spot. So it's either this or that most of the time. It's incredibly hard to find platforms where you put it on equal footing to start off with. But all said and done, there are so many inspiring stories out there of women who've entered spaces where they were the first to do so and created so much impact. And I think that keeps the society going. And each day that, women break more ceiling and, enter more spaces where they haven't been before, it just is such a cascading effect for more women to follow, because they're just going to see it as an example for things that can be done. They see it as this whole example that they can follow and enter space. So I think it's just so much more meaningful for one woman to break that ceiling, because it just makes that prospect reachable and attainable for other women in pursuit. So it just makes that, gives that extra boost of confidence and opens that door for so many more people. So I think that is what I wanted to say, and that it's hats off to all the women, especially the women on this panel, all of them, even the hosts. I think
Yes.
we've all had our personal stories and journeys, and none of them is lesser than the other, and they're also unique in their own way, and have created so many path-breaking stories. And one other thing I wanted to add was about institutional bias. I think when I sort of faced everything, I was still 20, 21, and that was, I think it's a very naive space where you have ideals. You expect the whole world to be ideal. You expect everything to be fair. Especially institutions, governments, and like these big organizations, you expect them to be fair. You expect them to hear things out, to come to logical conclusions, to conclusions that make sense. But when that shatters, when that hope shatters, when that naivety shatters, it actually breaks your heart. It broke mine, because the institutional bias is real, and I think there are different kinds of biases, but there are certain biases which are stacked up against women in workplaces, and when that shatters, it's extremely hard. But I think pushing through it is the only way to correct it, and challenging it on paper, no matter how hard it is and how mentally distressing it gets, is sort of step one to create change. But I think it's equally heartbreaking when you kind of first discover that it does exist. And
Definitely.
I,
That's true.
I really hope that it doesn't happen too young to people, and that it happens when there's an equivalent support system. And I think we as women, the least we can do is be that support system when that sort of image shatters for someone around us, that idealism, that that expectation of fairness shatters for someone around us, that the least we can do is at least be there for them and hold their hand through that difficult spot, because I think even that helps a lot.
Definitely. That's definitely we need to do that. Now, Archana ji, you have said that you came back from USA to India and you settled there and you wanted to pursue something in India because you said that our country need that. Can you please tell us what the reason for you going back to India, and what are you doing and how you are helping upcoming women? What is that you are doing at the moment?
Okay, so as I told you before also, Parul, when we were in the US, certain qualities of US used to really, touch our hearts, that it should be in our country also. And I'm not saying that my country is less, but not everything is available everywhere. So yeah, certain good things should be transpired from one place to another. So it was one of those things you can say. But we had to come back to our country because we wanted to work for our country. Yes, we had been to US. We wanted to test our capabilities, what we can do. And we were happy that we could reach there. We got recognized there. My husband was a project manager. I was a lead developer in the financial company. So, and we were doing good. And we were happy that we did good. And that gave us confidence that yes, wherever we go, we can do things to the level where we can bring a difference to the system, wherever system we are. So we wanted to come back to India. We came back to India. In the beginning, it was not very easy. Lots of challenges. Certain things I would not like to discuss, but yes, coming back from abroad, especially coming back from developed country, sometimes some people start thinking that you have a tree of dollars hanging in your house and you don't deserve that tree because you are not worthy. They are supposed to get it. And we faced that challenges also quite a bit. We lost all our savings and everything. Well, that is the learning phase. We have to go through it, I think, and it is good. And Rashmi, it is good that you learned all those things at this tender age. You will be very strong woman, and you will be really prove your worth, and you will be so much contributing to your work wherever you will be, that you will be proud of yourself. I am sure about it. And PI, you have already proven yourself going through that phase. So yes, this testing makes you stronger, better. So that's what happened to us also. But when we came back and we studied that, because what is the problem of our country? Because when we have all the resources, but performance is not there, and we found out child sexual abuse is one of the major problem of our country. And I should not shy about it, because unless we know the problem, we cannot solve the problem. And that's how, India topped the world in child sexual abuse related material in 2020 on the net in the world. So we were number one. It's not a good news, but it is there, and we have to work for it. Child sexual abuse is, and one more serious thing is, in India, boys are more sexually abused than girls. This is the news I want to share through you, through your platform, so that mothers on this International Women's Day get to know that we just don't protect our girls. We must protect our boys, because children are children, be it boy or a girl. All feel pain, all get in trouble, all are unsafe. This is the message I want to go through you. So I started working on child sexual abuse prevention, because we thought that, once sexual abuse happens, and rehabilitation of the child, yes, that is also a very serious problem. We work on that also. And our rehabilitation concept is also different. We not only just do the counseling part, we do the rehabilitation. We work on the ecosystem of the child, so that the child or the parents don't leave the place because the child faced this trauma, but they face it, and the system over there supports them. And whosoever children we have worked on it, we had been 100% successful. And I'm proud of my team for that they are here to do this thing, because it's still a rape in our society. Before Me Too was a big taboo. Now it is not there anymore. Now everybody realized that the culprit is wrong, not the victim. Otherwise, earlier the mindset was that and only girls rape or females rape used to be get disclosed, never of a boy's rape. And if somebody finds out that a girl has been raped or a woman has been raped, they are outcasted from the family. This is the common.
That's very true.
So now Me Too has really brought that change in the society, in the mindset. We need those type of movements, although it has been misused also. And every movement has some pluses and minuses all the time, be it any movement. So we cannot blame on that, but yeah, some positive changes which happened. So that has happened. And but in case of children, still the taboo is more, because we are not talking about it.
So how do you help? So you said that child sexual abuse you help, or you help with the rapist and rape women as well?
We work with children more. We work on the sexual harassment at workplaces. I am in panel with them, and we work with those women also, or male also. A sexual harassment could be with anybody. I have seen cases where males have been also sexually harassed.
Of course.
So we work on that, but our main agenda is creating awareness, empowering children. And for empowering children, we empower parents first, because teachers are the first who can talk to children. If we talk to children, they will not understand, but they will listen to teacher or the parents. So we educate parents and teachers how to talk to children, how to teach them when to say no and how to say no. Because in Indian culture, we have a tendency that, we teach our children, don't say no to your elders. That could be one of the reasons, but you should not say no. That is good, because you have, otherwise you won't eat, because you don't like healthy food, you will say no. No, when to say no? When your private parts are touched. Even today, I think parents don't talk to their children about their private parts.
Yes.
Children know all the body parts except private parts. If they don't know this level of communication is not there, then if anything happens, child is not able to communicate on this issue. Child itself doesn't know what happened. So we have to teach these small things to children. And this just little 2 things: how to say no. Child should know their private parts, and they should not touch anybody's private part, and don't let anybody touch their private part or see or let them see. Just 3-4 small things will bring a big change in our society. And let me tell you, it's not a haw factor. It's not a thing to feel shame about, because if you know, I mean, in Hindi we have words, and the same is in English, masculine and feminine words. Similarly, we have striling and purling words. Striling is what? Stri is female, ling is genital. Female genital, haw. This comes to our mind, but it's not, because we have generalized the word. Similarly, comes to the sexual abuse, we generalize the body parts names. This is the private body part, that's about it. You don't have to just make it a big deal about it. If you just realize it, let the child know the whole truth, but in a manner the child should understand. It should not be blown out of proportion. I don't want our children to be just not to be allowed to play with anybody. They should be totally free. Their childhood should be the way it should be. But we have to have empowered and informed neighborhood and the system and the society. That's all. If it happens, I am pretty sure my country will be the best country in the world. And that's what it's heading up to.
Brilliant. One last question to you. You have your organization. So if you could tell us the name of your organization, and you have said that you have an app for these as well.
Yeah.
So just let everybody know which organization you belong to and how they can contact you.
Sure.
So in future, if anybody has got any issue like that, they can contact you.
Yes, please. Very important. Please get in touch with us if you feel that there is sexual abuse is happening. One thing. Name of our organization is Samadhan Abhiyan, and the name of the app is Meri Awaaz. It is Android-based app which is on the Play Store. You download it for free, and this app has 2-3 very important features. One is anonymous calling. Second thing is when you call, that email goes to 3 related departments, so it's cross-sectional accountability. That's why it has 100% success rate. And the traces of caller will not remain in mobile. So that caller is safe from calling from any mobile, and this app is downloaded very quickly. Within few seconds, you will download it, call it, and you can remove the app, and your traces of call is removed, and the complaint is gone to the authorities, and it goes to 3 authorities together. So result is 100%. This is what I want to let everybody know, that please download Meri Awaaz app. And it has awareness and reporting features, both are together, which is uniqueness of this app.
Brilliant. We will definitely pass this word around. But now I'm going to come to PIYA. And PIYA, please let us know what you do to help the community.
So one of the things that I did during COVID was that I went to one of the temples, the Gujarati temples in London, and we cycled for, I think, 8 hours that I did, raised around £6,000. This was during the peak of COVID for India, and India was struggling on getting ventilators and oxygen, etc. So we were providing them financial support, and one of the things was that I was cycling for 6 hours. Came back with jelly legs, could not drive for a couple of hours, but then I drove back home. But that's one of the things that I do from the social side in order to support India.
Mm-hmm.
The other thing that I do in my spare time is go to schools, universities, and colleges. So that's through the STEM, the science, technology, engineering, and management and mathematics departments. So we're trying to raise awareness about STEM subjects, because in a lot of schools, females are automatically asked to join a very female-y
English, history, that kind of subjects.
Some of the school students actually come to me and say, "Oh, my teacher said you can do hairdressing and makeup." I was like, "Is that what we're born for?" makeup and hairdressing. We do that every day anyways. Don't need to get trained for it. But that was just me being sarcastic, I think. But it breaks my heart that United Kingdom, 21st century, even now, we ask our kids or kind of stir them, especially females, towards female dominated areas and not STEM subjects. So I do go around schools talking about not that much of my job role because of the kind of job I'm in. However, what was my journey through the engineering itself, and try to raise awareness that perhaps there is a cultural change that we need to change. There are barriers that we need to overcome. It's not going to be easy. However, we need to carry on pursuing. If we stop, the easiest part is to just stop and say, that's a, let's not go ahead. The difficult part is to carry on. And provided we carry on, provided we challenge system, challenge organization, go spread the word, be the role models. RASHMI, ARCHANA is absolute brilliant role models. And it's not only them. There are females around, housemakers. All they do is they devote their life at the welfare of their families. Absolute role models again. I don't think I could do the job that they do from the time that they wake up till the time they go to bed. And I think one thing that I tell females, students especially, is that rather than doing that cat fight, who's more pretty, who's got more money, who's got more status, whose hair is looking good, if we all stick with each other, especially in the kind of cultural change that we're driving for, we support each other through difficult times, we will be a much stronger entity than we are right now. And I believe Definitely. That the Inspiring Indian Women Network is doing that, and they're thriving through it. And all we need to do is support each other through it. There are going to be difficult times, and provided we are there for each other, we can thrive through. And that's one of the information, that's one of the verdict, or that's the kind of portrayal that I take with myself to the schools, so that the girls and the boys don't feel threatened when they're about to step into this vast world. And I believe that that's my duty, is to make sure that they understand what they're stepping into. However, they also know that there are people who will protect them at any cost.
That's brilliant. So you said that you go to the schools and you talk to girls and boys about how to become an engineer, how to go around, and you tell them your stories, right? Mm-hmm. And one more thing I would like to tell each and every one of you, that PIYA is willing, anybody, any girls, especially to girls, any girls who would like to become an engineer, and something different than usual jobs, right? That's what PIYA is doing. And if you are willing to take that as a career, PIYA is willing to become your mentors. He can come and give you a one-to-one guidance, and PIYA is very, very welcome to do that. So girls, boys, mothers, fathers, teachers, even, if any school would like to invite PIYA, please get in touch with us. Please get in touch with RASHMI Ben, and we will definitely get you in touch with PIYA, who will very willing to. PIYA lives all the way up in north. She is willing to travel up to 5 hours, go each side and come to your school, come to your charity events, come to your organization and be a mentor for anybody. So I would take that opportunity. I'm definitely going to take that opportunity for my community, and I am going to invite you one of these days to. So what I'm going to wrap up with, these 3 our inspiring women. Archana ji, you want to say something?
Yeah,
but
PIYA, I have a girl, she's 20 years old in our NGO. She wants to learn bike riding, and we are teaching her self-defense. So I would like you to talk to her so that she gets, and she's from very poor family, very poor. I mean, her mother is domestic help in a family. So I will appreciate if you talk to her so that she gets encouragement talking to you. You talk to her virtually. I mean, I don't know a time difference. I'll calculate. She comes to our office around 1:30 in the afternoon, stays there till 3, and she learns self-defense and not only that, self-defense, she learns classic dance, but she wants to learn bike riding. So I'm requesting somebody who can teach her bike riding,
Definitely.
motorbike. So if you can talk to her, maybe she can reach to more better avenues like you do.
Absolutely, absolutely. I mean, I've never ridden a bike. I can cycle. I can do cycling. However, bike riding is one thing that really opens up a female. Like driving and bike is something. Once you're not dependent on someone for your travel, you're not restricting yourself, and that really gets the women out and about, isn't it? And especially, again, that's a very male-dominated society when it comes to bike riding. Like, no one expects. So her doing that, she herself will become a role model, because people will look at her and think, wow, if she can do it, we can all. So absolutely, Archana, if you want, I am more than happy to absolutely speak to her. And what an amazing background story as well, because mother is trying to support, and hats off to the mother doing a brilliant job. She was. Please absolutely get in touch.
So
Definitely.
yeah, so I'll
Brilliant.
be with you for that.
So you can
because I
not-
gave bicycle, and her mother is not letting her ride because she's very pretty, good-looking girl, soft, delicate. So you have to talk to her so that she gets the power to talk to her mother about it. That she
So
can
Pia,
do it.
you need to talk to her mother first, and
Mother
then
first,
to
absolutely.
the girl as well. So
No, you just talk to her, empower her so that she talks. Let her fight.
okay.
That's the way I want
absolutely.
it.
Absolutely.
Definitely.
Yeah.
And that's really inspiring. 3 different women. Archana ji is doing a brilliant work out there. Please, anybody, Archana ji is willing to talk to any parent, any teacher, and teach them how to talk to your children, how to make your children, how to protect your children. So please talk to Archana ji. Please, I would advise each and every parent, each and every mother, father, teacher to get this app called Meri Awaaz, download on your phone, tell your children to download that on their phone as well, and you can contact them if need to be. You have lots of games app on your phone. I think this is one of those that must you have on your app. So thank you very much. And Pia, I would again say, Pia is in UK. If anyone who would like a mentoring on engineering, maths, that kind of field, please contact Pia. Please, you can contact us. You can contact Inspiring Indian Women via their Facebook page, and we will definitely pass Pia's information to you. Thank you. And thank you, Rashmi. What a journey you had. I am sure you will be amazing what you do in future, and you have been an inspired to a lot of other youngsters. So thank you. I thank each and all 3 of you, and it's been honored to host an event. Thank you. Thank you, Rashmi ji, for giving me this opportunity.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Namaste. Thanks, Sue. Thank you.
Thank you all, and thank you, Parul ji.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone. God bless you. Rashmi ji, you are in.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Parul, and amazing work you did by getting all the 3 express themselves so well. And what really shocks me that in today's age, in today's world, when people are more mature and awareness is at its peak, because of the social media, still all these silly things, I don't know what word to use, happen, that a woman has to face so much of hurdles. And place like Oxford, that's the something which every student wants to go there, and that place is has these biased opinions about few people. Thank you, Pia. Thank you for breaking the boundaries and trying to break the stereotype. It's indeed a pleasure to have all of you here on board. This is Inspiring Indian Women. Do keep in touch and log in again tomorrow at 5 p.m. because we are going to have 5-day series of amazing women on this platform, and we started the International Women's Day week with these amazing ladies. Thanks a lot indeed. Take care.
Thank
Goodbye
you.
from
Thank you.
Mumbai.
God bless you. Thank you. Have a lovely evening.
Thank you.
You too. Bye.